in ages as well. I have not seen it for a long time. And for good reason. It hasn't been the strongest in giving him the early space he would want around these grubs.
Yeah, it was actually on the first reset that both of these top laners had. ZDC getting a nice chunk onto Zika. So instead, it looks like LNG going to fight in the mid lane, but looks like the gravity well actually stuns up two, forces Haichao to flash away with the Arcane Storm coming down on top of him. But here comes Zika. That's a Wukong top lane, and he's level 6 with that Tiamat, and will pick up the first kill of the game as Assume goes down in the mid lane at the cost of the grubs going over to EDG.
That was possibly the single best gravity well I've ever seen. I don't think I watched those stun multiple champions
for the team. Rest of the squad really likes playing that front to back, but Zika will have the opportunity to go a little bit more aggressive throughout these team fights. And we'll say though, despite the fact that that kill did go LNG's way, EDG did pick up all 3 of the grubs.
Slightly more mobility on your carries. The Varus is still going to be jumpable, but that's not the same thing for the Corki. And the Corki does so much of this team's damage. If he's able to weave effectively through these fights, that could be big. Ooh, this could be risky though for ZDZ. We'll see if he oversteps up here.
Yeah, meanwhile, there's potential dive going on the bot side, but we're going to look up towards top first as the Cyclone comes out initially. There goes the Glacial Prison as well. ZDZ will fall here in this 2v overall with all 6 grubs secured.
It is, but not even having to use the cleanse right there for Photic's huge. You don't want to lose the cleanse right now. Losing cleanse flash and potentially your life would have been a massive disadvantage.
Oh wow, they clear all the wave down on that top side. ZDZ already chunked down about 500 HP as the Arcane Storm chunks way down to 40%. A lot of poke going down as all 5 members of EDG are up on the top side. They need to make this happen, and they do. Shutdown going the way of Zhao Hao, and now Wink is crashing down onto Weiwei instead, turning his targets towards Zhou, who has to flash away. Wind becomes lightning, knock up, and Zhao Hao picks himself up a double kill.
Huge double kill going through. Haichao gonna be able to
he got it
up the tower. Yeah, he just... Wait, no he didn't. Really want to be going backwards though, whereas LNG, they're much happier to go back. Right now, EDG, they've got the fast track onto this fight. Oh no.
Oh wow, Chain of Corruption and that piercing arrow with all those blight stacks forces Zhao Hao down to about 400 HP. Was not able to get the Crescent Guard off in time, so he will be forced back at least to one of his camps to try and heal up a little bit. And that gives LNG first track towards this dragon if they want it.
Yeah, but EDG, they're just going to peel off, pick themselves up a bot lane tower as well, making this play work for them across the entire map with the 6 grubs. That one's going to fall quite quickly. Let's see, though, there could be a steal.
Another thing as well, EDG, if they pick up this dragon, that will be the feats of strength going over their way. About 300,000 HP. It's going to go and reset. And so it looks like just going to be a trade of towers as well, as Haichao doing a really nice job of picking up those objectives where he is able to buy that time. And now back to the Infernal Dragon. Now EDG go. Both teams been just sticking around this bottom side. Weiwei going to try to go for a steal. It should be a 50-50, but it is secured by the Xin Zhao. Teleport comes in from Haichao as they want to fight this in a 5v5. And Zika has himself a tremendous flank. It's a 3-man Cyclone's going to land that knockup onto Asim and Zhao Hao once again, but there's just no follow-up, and he will go down. Bullet time is blocked by the Brahmi. Very well.
Up right here by EDG. Haichao is there. He's just going to spot this one out. Everybody knows that this is happening, and it takes so long to take it. Yeah, Wink is taking such a chunk.
So it forces LNG off of the dragon at the very least, but I don't know if they're going to be able to finish off this objective. It looks like, once again, they're just going to peel off, but it seems like overall, EDG get what they want in the short term. However, now, the Otacon buff did not actually fully reset, and now it's only at 5,000 HP, and Zhao Hao is going to have to make a tough choice. Does he try to go for the flip, or will he not even be able to with a big Glacial Fissure coming out from Zhuo? He's all very down, very low. The Arcane Storm doing a good amount of chunk as well. Here comes Zika, lands a Cyclone only onto Assume, and takes a big chunk in response. There comes the bullet time. He's going to burst this down, and the revives are secured by LNG. Wink goes in, but all will be for naught, as it'll just force all of LNG to head back to base, and Haichao doing as much damage as he can before he likely will eventually head back to the fountain as well. The Gatling gun doing a big chunk of damage. He will be able to get the shutdown on the Zhao Hao before heading back. It's a double kill here for the Corki, and even though all 5 of LNG head back through those modified respawns, they pick up 3 kills in response.
And that's exactly what you want to do. I question a little bit the decision out of EDG to go fully in there. And we can't even talk about the fight that we just saw because LNG on the quick resets head straight back on over to the Baron. It is recognized as happening, but 14-15 seconds until Xiao Hao's back up.
Yeah, Wink gonna try to take the Hex Gate over, but Azarel not gonna really be able to do too much, and he just might find himself into a pretty sticky situation. Okay, he will be able to go back to bases. LNG have other plans, it seems like, and that could actually be attacking ZDZ and then breaking open this top tier 1 turret. And that, again, is the power of this Voracious Otacon buff. Even though you're able to, technically kill all 5 members as EDG, doesn't matter because the death timers for LNG are just way shorter due to the buff, and they make their way over to the Baron and are going to...
taken by your opponents. There's then a full commit to going in to try and get extra kills down, try to get rid of those buffs. But Voracious was just nerfed. You now don't actually get to keep it for that long. All 5 members of EDG continue to step up. Hang on, we're going to jump straight out into a team fight.
Yeah, Zika found the initial Cyclone here, but here's the response, though, from EDG. Zhuo goes down, as Assume picks it up here with the bullet time. Now ZDZ might have called out Haichao. He's the big carry here for LNG. He's not even going to get a trade onto the Jin Zhao, and the Arcane Storm goes its way onto...
They're at least going to lose this mid lane tier 2, and that's a huge injection of gold. A ton of big shutdowns picked up as well. Haichao had a massive one set on top of his head that you've now managed to collect for EDG, and they pulled this gold gap back down to just over 1,000 gold. They're also going to pick up this Hextech Drake that had been sitting here left alone, uninterested in by the teams up until so far. They haven't really been able to step up to the towers. There's still 2 tier 2 towers remaining, same as their opponents, despite the fact that they had a Baron buff. ZDZ gonna get jumped.
Yeah, now Zika and Haichao looking to go on to ZDZ. Zika does have the flash if he wants to try to land a second knockup, but he's not even going to need it. ZDZ will get shut down. Haichao picking up his 4th kill. Big players for LNG. Haichao nearly 3,000 gold ahead of his lane opponent and does have 4 items right now. But EDG as a whole looking very aggressive, and they're actually the ones pushing the tempo here. Xiao Hao goes forward, pops the Crescent Guard, and here comes Wink with a 2-man Magnet Storm. On the other side, though, that's a flanking Corki, and Zika lands a 3-man Cyclone to try to one-shot the backline. That's Assume going down. That's Angel forced to flash away as well. The Arcane Storm doing a good chunk of damage. Not enough just yet, but ZDZ is able to pick up 2. He's able to pick up another one. He's able to pick up so many kills. That's a triple kill here for the Jace. And EDG somehow are able to run away with that fight. They get 4 kills with only Haichao standing.
What a weird, messy fight that one was. It looked like LNG had put themselves in a great spot with a flank. You had the Wukong and the Corki, the 2 massive damage carries and threats, get onto the backline, get a flank off, and you'd think that would be enough to pick up the win. But everybody is just of a fight, and just an unfortunate set of angles for LNG, where they needed to pick up those 3 kills onto the backline. They weren't able to do so quick enough.
Yeah, and we made it to about 33 minutes into the game before we had to mention tank Jace. ZDZ hasn't done too much here in this game other than get bullied by Zika in lane. But now with that 4th completed item, he's going to be a problem for the remainder of this one. But speaking of problems, it looks like Wink is in a hell of a one as he just gets bursted down as LNG just pull up a Death Brush strategy of some sort. Now Zika lands a Cyclone onto ZDZ. The tank Jace not tanky enough, pops the shield. The bullet time is blocked by Zhuo, barely not able to take anybody down. But now Angel will pick himself up a triple kill with the Arcane Storm. That is a large ultimate, burning down LNG. Photic, the last remaining survivor. It's an ace here for Edward Gaming. They've got 3 and a wave towards mid. They might try to end this game right now.
Yeah, with 6 grubs, EDG, they're going to take down these towers very quickly. 40 seconds on the death timer, so it's a long time at this point in the game. And it's another great team fight out of EDG. Fnatic Deathbrush style. Love it when teams pull that one out. And LNG, they set that one up. That was their play. It goes wrong once again. EDG, they're going to be able to want to run at you. Something that can stop that from happening would always be great. Right now, though, EDG, they're going to hover through quite a lot of different options. They've got plenty available to them. Comes on through for Weiwei. He's looking towards the top side of the map. There's no vision right here, and ZDZ is very pushed up.
Yeah, does hit level 5, so does have the advantage right now over Zika, who very smartly goes in front of ZDZ to make sure he cannot Justice Punch away. The taunt only going to land onto Weiwei as ZDZ in a whole lot of trouble, and it's going to be first blood for the Viego and LNG.
It felt like tested alone for the last couple minutes. Wink might get caught right here. He's going to step up.
Bit of a hairy situation here for Wink and Xiaohao. They are very lucky that that Zenith Blade went wide from Zhou. Otherwise, that could have been a bit of a problem. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, though, does connect. And Zika, he teleported away before anybody. He really knew that that arrow was going to hit. The hero's entrance comes in. ZDZ picks up the kill. And EDG equalized the score at 1 for now.
Now they're potentially looking for a dive right here. Assume slowly going to be pushing this wave in. All 5 members of EDG have roamed up. It means free pushes on the rest of the map, but can you get the kills?
I mean, this has to work for EDG, otherwise they're going to lose a lot in terms of just pure waves on both the mid and the bottom lane. Hex Slash in from Wink. The target immediately should be Photic, who gets chunked down and bursted here by the Shuriken of Angel, and he perfectly executes out to safety. Here's the re-engage, though. Haichao misses everybody with the Emperor's Divide. And that could have been a big turnaround for LNG underneath their tower, but Haichao unable to convert.
Oof, yeah, that
LNG to just clip farming
try
up there.
For this. He is. That was gorgeous, to be fair. And Wink is also going to join in. That's going to dissuade this dive for the most part. You really don't want to be diving into a Nautilus right now. And that's quite a lot blown, quite a lot of time invested top lane for no reward for LNG, whilst at the same time they're losing a ton of tower damage bot lane, and they lost out onto that first Drake. First Drake does finally fall. EDG are going to be able to pick that one up for themselves. It's now 1 apiece in terms of that feat of the objectives, but it doesn't matter. It's just going to be the feat going over right here to EDG. They're going to be able to pick up 2 of those. Nice early game so far for EDG. Exactly what we were.
Just a threat of potentially getting picked off with an Enchanted Crystal Arrow or the Paranoia coming out from Xiaohao is enough for LNG to play more on the defensive. The Dredge line just lands on the Zhou, is able to pop the Eclipse and keep himself rather healthy. Not a ton of follow-up, specifically from the solo laners. You see ZDZ making his way down to try to push another wave towards the bot side, but LNG, they're deciding that this is now their move as Zika is walking up.
Yeah, with 5 members in the area, definitely could be a good situation right now. ZDZ, he is on his way though, and will have that ulti.
Here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hawkshot just got everybody in vision here for LNG, and Zika gets caught up by the arrow and shut down to start off the fight, and it'll be 2 kills immediately here as Assume is able to pick up the second. Angel dashes forward, able to dash back out. The burn
often does come to you. They pick up the Rift Tower, going to be able to put it down in the mid lane as well. Potentially pick themselves up this mid lane tier 1. Not quite going to go for that one. Instead, peel back to take themselves this second Drake of the game. Everything right now coming up EDG.
And remember, you were saying earlier how LNG, they have to be the ones to start off the fights. They got to be at the objectives first. Yeah. They kind of half listened to you. They sent up Zika early, but they seem very indecisive in terms of whether they really want.
There's not a lot of League of Legends left to be played in this split, but there is a lot left this year. And this first split is often a bit of a warm-up, so we'll have to see what they can do to change it. Photic is currently being hunted right now. Pretty hard to jump an Ezreal, so they don't try, but they do at least put enough pressure down to be able to pick up that mid lane tier 1 tower. Now getting some decent damage, some decent push onto this tier 2 as well. Not helped by the fact that...
here for that second item. You see the second item, Hurricane also picked up here for Assume. Do a lot of AoE damage in the team fight, so I really think that EDG is in a good position to even potentially start this up, and that is exactly what they are going to do.
Yeah, they've once again left themselves. ZDZ on the Galio down in the mid lane is able to push this one through. Will be able to join the team with that hero's entrance. And we've said repeatedly, LNG are not a good composition right here to be walking into the opponent's world. They're going to be forced to do that. You really don't want to just give up this buff for free.
Half HP, Zika does have the teleport, but immediately Wink is going to go in here and land the depth charge onto 2. Solar Flare is splashed away from. Here comes the Paranoia. Only right now Zhuo in a lot of trouble. Zika teleports in and immediately has to flash away. Now stuck in a 1v5. Gets locked up by the taunt. The Equalizer not doing nearly enough. And the Otacon will reset, but it will come at the cost of Zika's life. LNG lose 1 and are now struggling to gain control here in the top side.
As long as you don't believe that LNG can just start here for EDG, and they are more than comfortable doing this because they have no expectation that LNG can start up the Atacam buff, and they are correct in that assumption.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about that teleport from Zika a little bit as well. I mean, it would have been good if...
Overall, interesting decision-making plays right here to send your jungler to go be the one to push out the mid lane. It works though when you're on the Nocturne because you can use that Paranoia to go and join up the team fight pretty quickly. LNG, they're still going to stand around this one. They're still going to try.
They're losing so
mid lane
much.
tier tower is just being taken by the jungler.
Yeah, so almost EDG daring LNG to finish off this Otacon. Xiao Hao does have the paranoia, should be able to jump into the pit using that control ward vision that is available. Wei going to potentially be the target as immediately Zhuo is the one who starts to engage again. Haichao unable to land a single person on the Emperor's Divide, as it's already a 2-0 going EDG's way. Assume now has that Ranger's focus unlocked. Angel with the Shuriken flip will take down Zika, and the Otacon is now down to 500 HP. 5,000, I should say. Photic flashing forward. The health bars are so low, but he will not be able to find a single kill, as Xiao Hao and ZDZ are still healthy on the front line, as the Otacon is still remaining tethered. Haichao has to be the difference maker here. Potentially Enchanted Crystal Arrow will not connect, as finally the Otacon will respawn another 3.
EDG though, they're happy with this. This is working for them great. They are not the ones who are making massive errors right here. The longer the LNG decide to bleed gold on the map, the better it is for them. They can just rinse and repeat this one again and again. And talking of again and again, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, having all these semi-globals from EDG definitely helps. It means that they're able to get to the fight a little bit faster. Speaking of, Enchanted Crystal Arrow immediately lands onto Photic, and the paranoia will force him to arcane shift away. Xiao Hao now taking a lot of damage. Taunt lands onto 3 members. ZDZ popping off in this fight, and already Photic is down. The damage, though, is big on the other side from LNG. Zika burning them down nicely, but nobody falls just yet. ZDZ will be able to reset and teleport right back and do this whole fight again, unless LNG have some...
The thing is, as much as we are, poking at the way the LNG are playing this one out, because of the composition they have, because of the champions they have, Zika does so much damage that these fights are never just winnable for EDG. They have to get 1 kill and then move away.
Oh, this is interesting, though. It looks like
this one now.
So EDG is going to get the soul here, but the Otacon might actually get picked up this time. No! Angel steals it away on the Akali. The jungler wasn't even there, and LNG still are unable to pick up the Otacon buff. Zhuo will fall. Assume is doing so much damage with the Ranger's focus. Haichao finally dashes forward, but he still doesn't have enough. Here comes Xiao Hao. Picks up Photic and should be able to grab even more kills, as Haichao is next on the menu. He will not burn down, but that is so worth it for EDG. They get 3 kills and they all revive and head right back to the top side of the map.
ZDZ teleports back in because top lane is the best lane, and Angel pushes through mid. What is this game? I cannot believe that EDG managed to steal that one away after we sit top lane for 15 full minutes watching LNG attempt to take this Otacon buff, and there isn't a jungler in the area. They still don't manage to secure it. It feels like a microcosm of the season right now for LNG. Nothing has worked out for them pretty much since they picked up that first win versus Thundertalk in Game 1 of the split. And to add just a little bit more to it, it is going to be a Baron going over right here to EDG. They might have just healed at some point midway through. The fight on the back end is crazy as well. Picture in picture, though, you can see LNG are losing out on a ton of map pressure, too.
Trying to qualify teams to MSI, but there's a lot of things that need to be fixed here for LNG. They are not playing good League of Legends right now.
No.
Even despite all the expectations that were given to them. The gold lead over 10,000 in favor of EDG. As it's been a relatively slow game, but that is exactly the way that EDG have wanted to play this one here. It just seems like LNG never wanted to push the go button until it was way too late.
Let's see if this is just going to be a little bit of a dive right here. The push coming through. They've got a 4-1 going on right now. Do EDG using their Baron to pretty good effect so far. Haven't been able to get the full 1-3-1 going. Top wave is kind of sat in no man's land right now, but it seems like they're more than happy to just slowly push this one through, pick themselves up these towers without over pushing. And hey, at the end of this game, it's going to be very hard to pick an MVP, but I know who my LVP is. I mean, honestly, ZDZ is inting in this game. Look at that. Look at that KDA. How can you die?
Yeah, what did he do? He died one time.
There it
Ridiculous.
goes.
Okay, there comes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow once again. Haichao just not able to do anything in that fight. Taunt lands here on Zhuo. He's certainly doomed as well. It's a double kill coming in for the Akali. Angel ending this one, or have right now, I should say, at 8-0 and 4. They're going to pick up this bot lane inhibitor, look to end this game right here and right now. Arcane Shift away from the dredge line. Now at 3v5 underneath the Nexus turrets, and it should not be like that for long. Zika will fall. Weiwei and Photic running the wrong direction, and it'll be right back to the fountain and right back to the drawing board here for LNG. They get dismantled here in game number 2. 18-1 the final kill score in EDG.
Conceding that the bot lane is over. You don't want to play that one out. You definitely want to switch them out, but also lane swaps are difficult. As much as we see them a ton, a very long time, that feat gonna go down very soon, right? The structure is so nearly gone. I love the demolish as well onto Zhou. Just really knew what was going to be happening in this one, really trying to index into this being as strong as possible, and it is actually going to be an early move towards the Drake for Weiwei. They are going to recognize that, hey, we've got all of this pressure bot lane, going to be able to pick up this tower at just 6 minutes 20 seconds into the game, and also grab an early Ocean Drake. And to be honest, an early Ocean Drake is great here too, exactly the kind of thing that you want to pick up. It makes it so much easier for your top laner to be able to just sit and chill. But to be honest, top laners have been a little bit homeless so far throughout this entire game. Not really had a lane to go and farm and do what they want to. Luckily, both Cassante and Ambessa have a lot of innate capabilities. That means it's not going to be the end of the world.
So we're just trading objectives here, you know, on the top side. Obviously,
it doesn't feel like they're playing this one slow because that's the way they want to play the game. It feels like they don't know how to increase the tempo. They don't know how to make things happen right now. This is a great decision here out of EDG. You don't draft yourself this composition because you want to sit back and chill. In fact, Assume gonna get jumped.
Okay, pops the cleanse. Already the stun used is not the upgraded stun just yet for Weiwei, although he could have it available rather soon. Ace in the hole comes out. That's a good chunk of damage. Weiwei just unrelenting in his chase down of Assume. Finally will jump him and onto him and pick up first blood. So much attention to from both squads. It looks like both teams, though, still very scared of hitting this Rift Herald. So we might actually get a situation here, Bloxer, where if EDG pick up this Herald or the next Dragon, that the feats of strength, or you know, could be. I mean, we could get a world where the feats of strength are picked up. The last one picked up is the kills, which would be a very surprising thing. But right now, it looks like LNG actually going to be the ones to start this one up. Xiaohao not really in a position to go for a steal unless he wants to be in danger of getting taken down. There's the Weaver's Wall. It separates 3 members of LNG, but a nice binding will force Xiaohao away from the pit, and it will mean that LNG will pick up this Rift Herald. That is good
for Atakan, though. Yay!
That is true. Then we'll be locked in. Then it's time to really lock in.
Yeah, that's when the game starts for both of these teams. Right. That's the point at which they are excited to play. These are formalities. Atakan, now that's the buff that everybody wants all the way through. Mid lane tower, as I was expecting.
As 5.
DDZ just going to have to give up that flank angle that he did have. Going to get jumped fully, though, by Weiwei. Flashes away.
The Grand Starfall does come out. Weiwei with a lot of movement speed after casting that E, but is unable to lock down ZDZ and take him below 50% health. He will be able to go back to base and teleport right back. Still has that public execution available, and so now EDG are the ones who feel comfortable to actually start up this Dragon. Looks like it could be a bit of a flip unless one side wants to go for an early engage. Who is going to pull the trigger first? Wink still has both of his summoner spells. Weaver's Wall comes out. The Dragon at 3,500. Will it actually end up being taken down, or will the fight actually break out? It's ticking, ticking. Nobody wants to do anything until Wink finds Photic, and the main carry for LNG falls. There comes the Strangled Thorns. It does not knock anybody up, but it forces LNG away, and EDG will pick up the Mountain Drake.
There we go, EDG. They're going to bet themselves a kill on the board and actually pull straight back on over to Atakan. Now, everybody from LNG has run away. They have immediately left the area and decided that they can no longer fight this one out. And actually, in the complete opposite of what we got to see previously, this is going to be a very quick Atakan take. EDG going to pick this buff up as well. It's most certainly voracious as staying around for the Atakan at least a little bit, because even if they couldn't win the fight, you can be about to steal, you can be about to just force your opponents off. It's very tricky to take Atakan because he does so much damage. The fact they just ran away pretty much just gave it over for free to EDG. They're going to be very happy with that one. Still, not up by very much gold. In fact, with that tower falling, the gold is barely 1,000 apart right now.
Yeah, and they're trading objectives actually decently nicely, all things considered, despite the 5 grubs being in EDG's side. They get the full bot lane tier 2. And Weaver's wall coming up towards mid. Angel looks like he's willing to sacrifice himself a little bit, knowing that he has that Voracious Otacon buff. If it means it helps get his team mid lane priority, they'll be able to burst down this tier 1 turret. Now the question is, can LNG fight back at all? Teleport comes in here for Zika. Another perfect execution does land. They are underneath the tier 2 tower. They are full sending it because they know they have the revives for just a little bit longer, and that is likely all that they will be. Grand Starfall comes out. Xiaohao going to probably be targeted here. Not going to burn that flash because he knows he's headed straight back towards the fountain. So they just decided to all run it down. But honestly, if you're going to give up 200 gold for basically free, maybe it is okay to let it go to waste in a way. Because
I think it probably would have been. Right now, ZDZ once again going to get jumped on. Actually misses the ulti as well. Oof.
Yeah, he already has to flash. There comes the Between Worlds from Haichao as well. ZDZ low on energy. Going to try to use that passive to get a little bit more, but it will not be enough as Weiwei picks up the kill. Meanwhile, on the other side, EDG going to try to use that time to take the Baron, and they do with all the damage that Xiaohao does have. Assume uses the killer instinct, try to get away. Zika looking to chase forward, but the Unraveled Earth makes sure that he dashes straight towards his demise, as it will be an extended 1-for-1 with the Baron going Edward Gaming's way.
EDG pull the trigger on that Baron. They are not afraid to just go for these objectives. We're seeing that throughout this game. Really nice play right there out of EDG. Yes, you lose your top laner, but more than worthwhile to pick out the Baron. That is a good play overall. And they're going to be back out onto the rest of the map now with some extra completed items. That's now 3 items in the back pocket of Assume. And you saw just how much damage he was able to do alongside Angel in that previous one. They're also going to move on over to this Drake. This is going to be sole point right here for EDG. They've put themselves in a very good position to be able to win this game, even with the kills dead even, and they're only up by about 2,000 gold. Still, they are in a very nice...
Working on map rotations and trying to set things up. Is this something that works against a better team? Because in my head right now, I'm thinking, okay, LNG is just really having themselves a rough couple of weeks. And if EDG try to play this sort of style against maybe a Thunder Talk or a BLG who's a little bit more aggressive, it might not work out as well for them.
No, we got to see what happens when you try this style up against a good team. It doesn't work because they are being kind of passive with it. And at some point, you get forced into having to team fight by better teams. Otherwise, you just sit there and allow things to happen to you for the entire game. Kind of like what's happening to LNG throughout this series. But it is at least good foundations for EDG. It gives me hope that there is something to build upon for the next split in a way that we didn't have previously. We can see that they can at least pick up wins.
Okay, so that's a very aggressive teleport here from Zika. Yeah. Forces all of EDG back at the very least, and now Wink actually could be a big target here. He pops the Unbreakable Will, a 2-man seismic shove does connect, and the E from Weiwei should be able to keep him alive for now. Ultimate does come away, and it will be Photic picking up that 3rd kill of the game. Finally, we get the feats of strength 28.5 minutes into this one. Looks like the ace in the hole will land just onto Xiaohao, and the rest of EDG will back away with just giving up that one.
That's a great point. I'm going to have to think about that after the series. Right now, there's very few thoughts in my brain other than, what is this series? This has been a fascinating series in the way that it's so odd.
My goodness, Assume just killer instinct straight into Weiwei's face. That could prove absolutely costly, but it just doesn't because Haichao dies in the middle of the entire enemy team. EDG get 1-for-0 as the 46-second death timer opens up for LNG's mid.
That's exactly what I was just saying. What is this series? Assume diving in when there's an Aurora on the board and it works. Doesn't even die right there to Photic. Photic's going to pay with his life here.
Yeah, public execution comes in from ZDZ. That'll lock down Photic. Here comes the Grand Starfall from Weiwei.
Assume's still here.
Rather low. And he does get shut down by the Comet Spear of the Pantheon, but it does not matter because he will go down in response. Still a 4v2 open on top of the map, and ZDZ very powerful at this point in the game. He might have been starved early with the lane swap, but he's all powerful now. Level 16 on the Ambessa and looking to open up this inhibitor tower.
Yeah, the Lux ulti going to come through. It takes away most of the weight, but not all of it, not enough. They're going to be able to pick themselves up that inhibitor turret and the inhibitor to boot. EDG, after the game, was very quiet for the first while. All of a sudden, the map able to do that. And I think he realizes, hey, I should be dead here, and walks up randomly to try to get that extra kill onto Weiwei. Does a lot of damage, sure, but at the point at which you have that ulti, then that could be a great way to really crack this game open fully. Another great way is to just move on to this Baron for the second time.
And if they pick this up, could eventually lead to the end of the game. The Weaver's Wall will block out Zhuo specifically, as ZDZ is in on the flank with the Zyra and Kai'Sa. This Baron bursts down so incredibly fast. It will be secured without a question here for EDG. And now the real question is, can LNG escape with their lives after posturing around the pit maybe a little bit too far forward? Redemption comes out and heals up LNG rather nicely. You can see right now Zhuo on the luck, barely tickling EDG, and Haichao gets caught out by the public execution. It's a double kill in for ZDZ, and that should just about do it. It was not the split that EDG wanted, but it definitely was the series that EDG wanted today against LNG. They pull off a clean sweep, 3-0, and will end this split one on a high note.
Yeah, 3-0's got to feel good after what has been a rough split for EDG. But this one was great. This one was pretty clean the whole way through. It never really felt like LNG had a chance. EDG were just the